On today's show, we're going to be talking about the Lions schedule that will be released on Thursday. Some questions to ask before the release of that schedule, and we're going to be live for it as well. Brad Holmes, hey, anonymous GM, taking shots at Brad Holmes. Is it justified? Is it salt? We'll get into that. Cade Peterson signing with the Detroit Lions. Grand Valley State University quarterback. We're going to go over what he brings to the table. Jake Bates. A lot of the fans want to bring Mr. Bates here. We're going to talk about what needs done. And free agents left that the Detroit Lions could sign. We'll go over the list and give my thoughts on that bad boy. Let's go. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel. Let's continue to grow. And with your help, it absolutely can happen. Let's get into the Lions' schedule. Now, the release is going to be on Thursday, but we already know some of the teams that we're going to be facing away in home games. We just don't know what teams we're going to face and when. So, obviously, home, Chicago, Minnesota, Green Bay, Central NFC North, Buffalo, Tennessee, Seattle, L.A., Tampa Bay, Jacksonville. That's a pretty difficult-looking schedule. Home schedule, if you ask me. Away, same, Chicago, Minnesota, Green Bay, San Francisco, Arizona, Indianapolis, Houston, and Dallas. That is a pretty scary-looking schedule, if you ask me. And according to everybody here, the Detroit Lions ranks as the third toughest in the NFC. Only the Vikings and Dallas Cowboys have a tougher schedule. And then Warren Sharp of Sharp Football Analysis recently crunched down to the numbers and projected a total from Las Vegas Oddmakers. The Lions has the ranks the 21st in the NFL, giving them the 12th hardest schedule in the NFL. So NFC, it says 3. Here, for all of the NFL, it's 12. So it's a hard schedule, and that's right now, right? It's not necessarily mean it's going to be happening here. And some of the questions that we got to ask on Thursday is how many primetime games are we going to get? A rematch with the San Francisco 49ers losing the NFC Championship, when that's going to be trips to Texas, Dallas, and Houston. Thanksgiving opponent. We need to get a win on Thanksgiving. Matchup with rookie quarterbacks. We get a lot of rookies here, especially in the NFC North. Stafford's return, part 2. Can the Lions solve the Seattle curse? We kind of win there at some point. Cold weather games or lack thereof. And uniform schedule releasing the same time with like the schedule you're going to face. So what uniform are you going to be wearing? So I got a question for you. How many primetime games will the Detroit Lions have this season? You can do 1 through 6, 1 being 1, 6 being 6, or do a different number. Let's continue on here. An honest GM was criticizing our general manager, Brad Holmes. They said they fixed the problem, but at what cost? An executive told Sando, "You're never one player away." Well, that's just one player, but 3 of the cornerback position between drafting Terrion Arnold and Rakestraw, well, in addition to veterans Carlton Davis. I like both those corners, but they gave up a lot. Another executive told Sando, "I left that they could have gotten 29, maybe gotten their guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry or Nate Wiggins." While the Athletic writer included the compliment from one person of Detroit's willingness to go for it, another believes that GM's acting a little big for his britches. One executive thought the Lions trading the 2025 third-round pick for Jets to the University of British Columbia tackle Giovanni Manu at number 126, then using another fourth-round accommodation and getting Sione Vaki boarded arrogance. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. Arrogance and the anonymous GM. Just like last year, everybody destroyed the Detroit Lions draft. Oh, F, oh. Put your name out there. Stop being an anonymous GM. You're dealing with salt. Focus on your own team. The Detroit Lions are perfectly fine at drafting the players and what they use. Because they traded up, it's arrogance. That is literally the dumbest thing that I have heard. How many times do teams trade away all these draft picks and you never hear them get talked about? Utterly ridiculous. It is salt, and the salt is beautiful sometimes. You have to admit. The salt can be glorious sometimes because these people get so butthurt over what we do. It's crazy. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think he is arrogant. Do you think Brad Holmes is arrogant? Do you think that It's borderline arrogance to trade up to get a player and give up a third-round pick because no one ever trades in the NFL draft. Just every single team in the NFL does that. But maybe he's right? Maybe he's right that Brad Holmes is arrogant and giving it. No, they're not right. Brad Holmes knows how to draft. Brad Holmes is the master of the draft. These people are probably NFC North salty general managers or teams that the Lions beat in their salt or a player whom a team wanted and the Lions got. That's the real truth of the situation here. Maybe it's Green Bay since we're fleecing them every year. We keep to jumping over them, getting the player that we want. Maybe that is. But I think it's cowardice for an anonymous general manager to make it. Dude, just put your name out there. Be a man and put your name out there if you're going to say it's garbage. Well, give me a one-word reaction to the general manager. I don't care what the word is, just a one-word reaction in the comments below. Detroit Lions brought in a quarterback for a minicamp and stuff here, and he's actually somebody that a lot of us know, at least where we're at here in the Detroit Lions, especially the west side, Grand Valley State's University. Own player, though. Really, really cool. The Detroit Lions brought in a guy, and now, if you don't know, first off, Grand Valley is a very, very small school here. Cade Peterson, their quarterback, he put up 5,115 yards, a QBR of .60, 47 touchdowns, and 26 interceptions. And 11 of those interceptions were 1 year, so this is a 5-year career for the young man here. But that's not just all. He also runs quite a bit. He ran for 234 times for 1,261 yards, 15 touchdowns. Cade Peterson, the GVSU quarterback, was putting up ridiculous numbers. So it's cool to have him invited and see what he can do for the Lions here. Now, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm not expecting anything from Cade. But a guy who was just out of school right down the road for me, I think it's a small school, by the way. I think it's pretty cool at Grand Valley. And you just never know, right? He can run. He can throw. Maybe he'll end up being a player that the Lions can use. I don't know. Specialty player. And we'll see how well he goes there. But he can run. He can pass. He's a small town guy, not a small guy. He's 6'4". He's a big guy. So he is athletic, and the Lions sign him. We'll see what he can do in the up-and-coming camps that he's got invited to. So that's what's cool to see what the Detroit Lions are going to do there and how they're going to get better finding talent. Is this going to be a guy that they flip and he comes in here and he does a decent job? So pretty cool for the Lions getting that. Also, the Detroit Lions are clearly eyeing to get Jake Bates from the UFL. But again, if you don't know, the UFL actually ends on June 17, so that's when the Lions can then sign. You can't sign a player until after the championship is over, and so the Lions going to have to wait a little bit if you're wanting to get Jake Bates here in about a month and a half, and the Lions can go and sign him. Now, look, there's going to be a lot of other teams looking at him. It's not just the Detroit Lions, so he's going to be a coveted kicker, but it's a kicker. So the Lions, obviously, he's played here, right? The Michigan Panthers here at Ford Field. So the Lions already contacted him, and I think the Lions probably will sign him, and that'd be a good idea to get some players to help out this kicking situation, right? You get more kickers in there competing, and then you just eventually have one. So Jake Bates, we're going to have to wait a little bit for him to become a player whom the Detroit Lions would like to get. So, hey, let me know your thoughts of getting Jake Bates. How many primetime games do you think the Detroit Lions are going to have this year? Again, let me know in the comment section. 1, none, 6, 7, I don't care. Blow up the comment section with your thoughts about primetime games. There are still free agents the Detroit Lions could look to sign here. A bunch of wide receivers, some tackles, and safeties here. And this was put on Pride of Detroit to go check that article out. Zay Jones, 6'2", 200 pounds. Still not signed anywhere. The Lions could look at him maybe as a number 3 wide receiver. Tyler Boyd, I think, just got signed. Michael Thomas out there, 6'3", 212 pounds, out of, obviously, New Orleans Saints. There is a big injury concern about him because he's always injured. Odell Beckham Jr., I think he signed with the Miami Dolphins, so he's no longer on this list. But he was. Andrus Peat, the tackle here, 6'7", 316 pounds, old man, long tooth. I don't really see a reason to get a tackle when you're talking about a backup one at this point. DJ Humphries, another one, 6'5", 307 pounds. Again, I'm pretty happy with the tackle position. They could get another backup, but that's really it. I'm not looking for a starter. Justin Simmons for the safety. I know Ant-Man and a lot of people like Justin Simmons, the 6'2" safety. Out of there, he would finish the safety room up as one of the best in football if their Lions were to get him. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though, because they already got safeties who they're going to be playing at Futu Malfonwu, Jerry Jacobs, and obviously Brian Branch. Eddie Jackson is another safety. They could get more of a depth piece there, 6 foot, 206 pounds. And Marcus May, this would be a depth piece as well, 5'11". So there's some players that the Detroit Lions could look to sign right now in free agency, and not necessarily, well, some could be starters, absolutely, like a Zay Jones or a Justin Simmons. A lot of these other guys, I don't think would be too much starters that are available. Remember, some of these guys just got picked up and signed, like the Miami Dolphins and Tyler Boyd's went to a team. So I think that the Detroit Lions obviously could make some moves here and beef up the free agency period, but it's definitely winding down, and the Lions are just probably wanting to get depth pieces, no longer legit actual starters. Maybe an edge to compete or a wide receiver to compete. That's really about it, though. We're going to be dropping videos every single day. We're going to be live for the scheduled release on Thursday, so get you ready for that. And with that said, folks, adios.